Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The movie begins with a blue hedgehog named Sonic, who is running at incredible speed through the city. A scientist named Dr. Ivo Robotnik is chasing Sonic with his Robotnik's aircraft, but Sonic uses his speed and skills to dodge all the bullets that Dr. Robotnik shoots at him. The reason for the chase is that Sonic is from another world, not Earth. He was born and found himself on a very beautiful island where he had immense power and many abilities. Sonic runs at extreme speed all around the island, enjoying himself. He keeps running until he reaches his home, where he meets an owl named Longclaw. Longclaw raised Sonic and that the power Sonic has is unlike anything else on the island, which is why Longclaw warns him not to use his special power on the island, fearing that someone might see him. She worries that if the island's inhabitants find out about Sonic's power, they'll seek it out, putting him in great danger. Sonic promises to follow her advice strictly and stay hidden. However, unknown to him, a group of the island's inhabitants had already been watching and following him, intending to capture him to harness his energy and discover its source. Longclaw manages to protect Sonic from them and quickly flies him away from their home. However, one of the inhabitants manages to beat Longclaw with an arrow, causing her and Sonic to fall to the ground. Despite her injury, Longclaw stands up again and uses a golden ring to open a portal, telling Sonic to pass through it. She explains that the portal leads to a safe place in another world, the Earth, and reminds him to hide his powers from everyone. Before Sonic enters the portal, Longclaw gives him a bag of the remaining golden rings and tells him that if he ever feels threatened, he should use one of the rings. After Sonic goes through the portal, he looks back and sees Longclaw standing in front of a group of attackers, about to die. Sonic rushes back to save her, but the portal closes before he can reach her. After 10 years, in a city called Green Hills, a small turtle is walking on the highway, and a car is about to run it over. Suddenly, Sonic appears and manages to save the turtle from being crushed. He grabs it and runs at full speed, knowing that the turtle has never experienced anything like this before in its life. Meanwhile, there's a police officer named Tom sitting in his car on the side of the road. He has a radar gun to measure the speed of passing cars, but Tom is bored because he's been sitting there for a long time without seeing any cars pass by. Suddenly, the radar gun registers an incredibly high speed, and Tom is surprised. He looks at the road several times but doesn't see any car. It turns out Sonic is the one running at incredible speed past Tom's car, and Sonic keeps doing this multiple times, having fun while watching Tom get confused and puzzled. Eventually, Tom gets out of the car to check if there are really no cars on the road. As he's investigating, Tom finds one of Sonic's quills and is curious about its color and shape. Then, Tom hears a call on his car's radio, and it's his friend Wade, telling him that he's urgently needed at the police station. Sonic, who is living in a small cave in the forest. Sonic is very happy with his life on Earth, feeling safe with his bag of golden rings and the map of the planet. However, he's a bit upset and hopes he never has to use any of the rings, because if he does, he would have to escape to a planet called Mushroom Planet. Sonic really doesn't want to go there, because it's an abandoned planet with no creatures other than giant mushrooms. Besides, Sonic loves Green Hills and feels like its inhabitants are his family. Every day, Sonic secretly watches the townspeople, day and night, observing their lives. He admires two people in the town. The first is Officer Tom, who Sonic sees as a good person, always helping the town. Sonic also admires Tom's wife, Maddie, who works as a veterinarian. He likes her flexibility and fitness when she practices yoga. Sonic also entertains himself with his daily chase involving a local resident named Carl. Carl discovered Sonic's presence in the town by accident and has tried to catch him many times but always failed. Because of this, Carl has nicknamed Sonic the Blue Devil. But he can't prove Sonic's existence to the other townspeople, which makes Carl look bad in front of everyone. Despite all this, Sonic often feels lonely and deeply sad. At the same time, Tom is on his way back home when he spots some raccoons eating from the trash cans. He scares them off and then goes inside his house, excited to tell Maddie that he received an acceptance letter from the San Francisco Police Department. Tom is thrilled, but Maddie isn't thrilled about the idea of moving to San Francisco. However, she hides her feelings to avoid spoiling Tom's happiness. The next day, Sonic hides in a baseball stadium, watching the championship games. He enjoys it so much and wishes he could join in and experience the excitement with the players. Later that night, Sonic goes to the empty baseball field and, using his incredible speed, plays a full baseball game by himself, taking on the roles of all the players. However, after a while, Sonic feels sad again, realizing that despite all the fun, he's still lonely and craves friendship. Feeling frustrated, Sonic tries to release his pent-up energy and sadness by running at full speed. He runs so fast that a huge electromagnetic surge bursts from his body. causing massive power outages across multiple states. Even satellites in space are affected by Sonic's energy surge. At the same time, Officer Wade is at the police station, overwhelmed by all the calls coming in from people reporting the outage. Unsure of what to do, he calls Tom to inform him about the situation. Tom calmly tells Wade to stay relaxed and to reassure the townspeople that the power company will fix the outage as soon as possible. Suddenly, Tom notices a glowing blue light on his desk. He ends the call with Wade and walks toward the source of the light, realizing that it's coming from the blue quill he found earlier on the road. A while later, there's a meeting of top officials at the U.S. Ministry of Defense. The Energy Ministry hasn't been able to figure out the cause of the power outage in San Francisco, and they discuss numerous possible solutions. Eventually, the Army General suggests calling in a genius Robotnikics expert named Dr. Robotnik. The next day, Dr. Robotnik arrives at the baseball field with his mobile laboratory, accompanied by his assistant, Agent Stone. When he meets the military commander present at the field, Dr. Robotnik arrogantly tells him to withdraw all his forces to give place for his advanced drones to take over the operation. The drones are oval-shaped and equipped with highly advanced technology. Using the control device in his glove, Dr. Robotnik orders the drones to spread out and scan the entire area for any anomalies. Dr. Robotnik returns to his lab to monitor the search process. After a while, one of the drones detects Sonic's footprints, but the footprints quickly disappear. Meanwhile, Sonic is in the forest and notices the drones spreading throughout the area. He rushes back to his cave, quickly gathering his belongings, and prepares to leave Earth. Just before Sonic can use one of his golden rings to escape, the drones attack, surrounding and destroying his cave. Heartbroken, Sonic watches as his home is reduced to rubble, but he has no choice but to run at full speed to escape. At this time, Tom is on the phone with his wife Maddie, who has traveled to visit her sister Rachel and niece Jojo. He tells her about the power outage in the town. Suddenly, Tom hears a noise coming from the garage and assumes the raccoons have returned to rummage through the trash and gotten into the garage. Grabbing a gun, he goes to investigate the source of the noise. Meanwhile, Sonic is in the garage, preparing to use one of his golden rings to escape. Just as Sonic is about to open a portal, Tom walks in, startling Sonic. Sonic sees the word San Francisco on Tom's t-shirt, and because he briefly thinks of San Francisco, the ring falls from Sonic's hand, accidentally opening a portal to the city. The ring pouch also slips from Sonic's hand, and the bag of rings falls through the portal, landing on a rooftop in San Francisco before the portal closes. Tom, not realizing what just happened, takes Sonic into the house, locking him in a dog cage. As Tom examines Sonic, he realizes that the blue quill he found earlier came from Sonic's body. Tom starts to connect the dots, wondering if Sonic is the mysterious creature causing the power outage. After a short while, Sonic wakes up, but his leg is still numb from the tranquilizer, making it impossible for him to run away. Despite this, Sonic is happy to be face-to-face with Tom, but Tom, frightened, asks Sonic not to hurt him. Sonic reassures Tom, explaining that he's a peaceful creature. At that moment, Dr. Robotnik arrives with his mobile lab and, along with Agent Stone, starts scanning the area for Sonic. The drones have traced Sonic to Tom's house. Hearing noise outside, Tom and Sonic look out the window and spot Dr. Robotnik, who is tracking Sonic's location. Realizing that Dr. Robotnik is there to capture him, Sonic begs Tom for help since he can't escape with his leg still affected by the tranquilizer. Understanding that this is a life-or-death situation, Tom sympathizes with Sonic and agrees to help. He quickly takes Sonic and hides him upstairs. At that moment, Dr. Robotnik asks his drones to search the area for Sonic. Tom encounters Dr. Robotnik, asking him why he's outside his house. Dr. Robotnik explains that he's tracking the source of the electromagnetic energy causing the power outage and has determined that a strange creature might be involved. He warns Tom that aiding this creature would be considered helping an enemy of the state, punishable by death. Tom denies seeing any strange creature, but the drones arrive at Sonic's hiding place. As they close in on Sonic, he attempts to evade them. Dr. Robotnik hears the commotion inside the house and rushes in, finding a raccoon on the table. Dr. Robotnik concludes that Tom genuinely knows nothing about the creature. However, Dr. Robotnik notices Sonic's quill and accuses Tom of treason. Despite Tom's insistence that he is a police officer, Dr. Robotnik demands to know Sonic's location within 5 seconds or face death. Dr. Robotnik starts a countdown. As the countdown progresses, Sonic hides under a box, observing everything. Seizing the opportunity, Tom beats Dr. Robotnik, throwing him to the ground. Tom grabs Sonic's hand and pulls him out from under the box. Sonic quickly moves, jumping on one of the drones and causing it to lose balance. Tom then grabs a plate and smashes it into the robot, destroying it. Tom helps Sonic into his car, and they speed away. At that moment, Agent Stone arrives and sees Tom and Sonic escaping. Stone rushes to check on Dr. Robotnik, who scolds him for arriving late. Dr. Robotnik realizes that they must capture the blue creature to examine and dissect it for its energy. He instructs Stone to retrieve the blue quill he found earlier and to prepare the lab for the task. On the road to San Francisco, Tom drives at high speed to escape from Dr. Robotnik. He asks Sonic about his story, and Sonic explains that he came to Earth from another planet and was supposed to escape using a golden ring to a planet called Mushroom. However, he lost the entire bag of golden rings. Sonic asks Tom to take him to San Francisco to retrieve the bag. Tom pulls over and tells Sonic to find the bag on his own in San Francisco, as he doesn't want to get further involved. Sonic, however, asks Tom for directions to San Francisco. Tom tells him to head west. Sonic runs in that direction but quickly returns, saying he ended up at the ocean and can't swim. He asks Tom to help him get to San Francisco. Tom agrees, and they continue their journey together. During the trip, they get to know each other better. Tom learns that Sonic has been observing the city for 10 years and feels a deep connection with its inhabitants, considering them his family. Sonic is upset to hear that Tom plans to leave Green Hills for San Francisco, as Tom feels bored and wants to prove himself as a real police officer. Sonic explains how much Tom means to the city and asks him to reconsider his decision. As night falls, Tom stops to refuel and make a phone call. He contacts his friend, Wade, to check for updates, but is told Wade will continue searching for him. Tom hangs up and finds Sonic missing. He eventually locates Sonic in a diner, who convinces Tom to stay and enjoy the moment. Sonic, experiencing this for the first time with a friend, writes down a wish list but feels sad about leaving Earth before achieving them. Tom empathizes with Sonic and helps him enjoy the diner's offerings. Later, a group of troublemakers confronts Tom and Sonic, disliking Sonic's appearance. Tom tries to calm the situation, but Sonic bravely steps in to handle it. His actions make things worse, leading to a brawl. Amid the chaos, Sonic uses his speed to save Tom from the fight. Within moments, the brawl ends and everyone collapses, unconscious. Tom and Sonic leave the bar, excited about their recent adventure, and head to a hotel to rest. Sonic, exhausted from the day's activities, falls asleep quickly. Tom, while going through Sonic's list of wishes, discovers that Sonic desires a true friend. Just then, the news alerts that Tom is now considered a dangerous criminal by the American government. The next day, Dr. Robotnik arrives at the diner where Tom and Sonic had been and learns from the leader of the villains about their route to San Francisco. Using his mobile lab, Dr. Robotnik tracks Tom and Sonic's location and sends a car-shaped Robotnik to pursue them. While driving, Tom and Sonic are surprised when a cable from a large arrow pierces their car. Tom tries to control the vehicle as Sonic jumps out and destroys the robot. However, Dr. Robotnik deploys another Robotnik from within the destroyed one to continue the chase. The robot fires explosive discs at Tom's car, but Sonic manages to catch and destroy them before they can cause significant damage. The chase intensifies as Dr. Robotnik deploys a third Robotnik. Tom, expertly maneuvering the car, and Sonic work together to destroy it. But another Robotnik emerges from the third one, and Sonic is impressed by the small Robotnik. Despite Sonic's efforts to destroy it, the robot's remaining parts cause a significant explosion, sending Sonic flying into the air. Tom, fearing for Sonic's life, is relieved to find Sonic still alive and quickly takes him to the car to seek medical attention. Meanwhile, Dr. Robotnik, furious at the destruction of his drones and the escape of Tom and Sonic, discovers the glowing blue spike in his assistant Stone's pocket. Upon analyzing it, Dr. Robotnik realizes that the spike contains immense energy. This discovery excites him even more, as capturing Sonic could fulfill his scientific ambitions. Tom arrives in San Francisco and goes to Rachel's house, carrying Sonic wrapped in a blanket. Rachel, having seen the news and knowing Tom is considered a criminal, threatens to call the police. However, Maddie arrives and tries to convince Rachel to listen to Tom to understand his side of the story. During the commotion, their dog pulls the blanket off Sonic, revealing him. Maddie and Jojo are surprised to see Sonic, and Rachel eventually sees Sonic unconscious and tied to a chair. Maddie, who has medical expertise, uses a special treatment to revive Sonic. Once Sonic wakes up, he explains his situation to Maddie and Tom. Maddie agrees to help Tom in finding the bag of golden rings and asks for an explanation of what's happening. Meanwhile, Jojo notices Sonic's torn shoes. She quickly goes to her room and returns with a new pair of shoes, which she gives to Sonic as a gift. Sonic is thrilled, as this is the first time anyone has given him a gift. Afterwards, Tom and Maddie take Sonic in Rachel's car to the tower where the bag of golden rings is located. They arrive at the tower, and Tom hides Sonic in his bag. Using his authority as a police officer, Tom convinces the receptionist to give him the key to the rooftop because he has a secret mission. On the rooftop, they find the bag of rings. Sonic retrieves the bag and takes out a golden ring. He knows he can use it to transport to a specific location other than Mushroom Planet. Sonic says goodbye to Tom and Maddie, who are very emotional. However, they are suddenly surrounded by numerous drones and Dr. Robotnik in his aircraft, preparing to attack. Sonic pushes Maddie and Tom off the rooftop to protect them from the drones, knowing he can save them before they hit the ground. Sonic uses his incredible speed and power to destroy all the drones, but Dr. Robotnik presses a button in his aircraft and harnesses energy from the blue quill, firing an energy blast at Sonic. Sonic struggles but briefly loses consciousness before recovering quickly. He uses a golden ring to open a time portal and transports Tom and Maddie to Green Hills. Sonic then falls to the ground, surrounded by the destroyed drones, and Dr. Robotnik stands before him in his aircraft. Sonic collects the golden rings and flees with them. Sonic is surprised by the speed of Dr. Robotnik's aircraft and uses a golden ring to open a time portal to France. However, Dr. Robotnik manages to enter the portal before it closes and continues the chase. Sonic opens another portal to China, leading them to the Great Wall, and then another portal to Egypt, arriving at the pyramids. Sonic decides to create a sandstorm around Dr. Robotnik to temporarily disorient him. Sonic runs towards the top of the largest pyramid to open a time portal and escape, but Dr. Robotnik clears the sandstorm and tries to attack Sonic. At that moment, a time portal opens, transporting them back to Green Hills. Sonic collapses on the ground, dazed from the attack, and drops the bag of golden rings. Dr. Robotnik prepares to kill Sonic, but Tom suddenly appears, grabs the bag of rings, and uses a golden ring to open a time portal to attack Dr. Robotnik. A fight ensues inside the aircraft, but Dr. Robotnik manages to knock Tom to the ground. Dr. Robotnik realizes that Officer Wade is defending Tom, and Carl is also defending Tom and Sonic because he was the first to discover Dr. Robotnik is puzzled and asks Tom why he is defending a creature with no use. Tom responds that Sonic is his friend. At this point, Sonic recovers fully and stands before Dr. Robotnik, fully charged with the greatest energy in the universe, the energy of friendship. Sonic dodges Dr. Robotnik's attacks and quickly beats back, destroying Dr. Robotnik's aircraft. Sonic asks Tom to use a golden ring to open a portal to Mushroom Planet. At the same time, Sonic delivers a powerful blow to Dr. Robotnik's aircraft, causing it to pass through the Mushroom Planet portal, thus finally getting rid of Dr. Robotnik forever. Afterwards, Tom goes to greet Sonic and thanks him for saving them. He gives Sonic the bag of golden rings, and Sonic is very happy with what has happened. Maddie learns that Tom has changed his mind and will not move to San Francisco. Instead, he will stay in Green Hills and will not allow Sonic to leave Earth. The next day, Maddie and Tom are surprised by a visit from the leader of the military organization, Guardian Units of Nations, GUN, Commander Walters, who presents them with a letter of appreciation for eliminating Dr. Robotnik after he had corrupted his own mind with evil. Walters informs them that all records related to Dr. Robotnik have been erased, and he no longer exists. When Walters inquires about the alien, Tom tells him that there are no extraterrestrials and that Dr. Robotnik made up the story. After Commander Walters leaves, Sonic, who has just woken up, is taken by Tom and Maddie to see his new room on the second floor of their house. Sonic is overjoyed and thanks them for letting him live with them. Meanwhile, on Mushroom Planet, Dr. Robotnik shaves his head and removes the destroyed aircraft computer from his shoulder. He takes out Sonic's blue spike from his pocket and tells himself that he must return to Earth quickly. The first part of the film ends. The second part of the film begins with Dr. Robotnik being imprisoned on Mushroom Planet. Dr. Robotnik has been working for 240 days on a time portal invention to return to Earth. He manages to build a large tower and uses Sonic's spike as the power source for the tower. However, when Dr. Robotnik connects the tower wires to the blue spike, a massive surge of energy erupts, causing him to lose consciousness and a significant explosion on the planet. A time portal opens, and 3 warriors emerge from it. The warriors approach Dr. Robotnik, demanding the blue spike. Dr. Robotnik regains consciousness and uses traps he has set to defeat the 3 warriors. He then rushes towards the time portal, only to be confronted by a red warrior being named Kunkles, who asks where he got the blue spike. Dr. Robotnik tells Kals that the spike is from a blue-colored planet called Earth and agrees to cooperate with him to find its location. Meanwhile, in Seattle, Sonic is atop a tall building, observing a police chase involving a gang attempting to steal a money truck. Sonic quickly descends to the truck and manages to eliminate all the thieves with skill. He then realizes that the truck's brakes are malfunctioning, and he nearly crashes into a woman on the street. Sonic loses control of the truck, and the security guard inside is terrified. Sonic eventually regains control but discovers that the truck contains a bag full of explosives. The instability and vibrations of the truck activate the bombs, which are about to explode. Sonic throws the bag of explosives into a nearby trash truck, saving the people around him. The bank employee reports hearing a bomb about to explode. Sonic finds the explosive device inside the truck, removes it, and throws it into a sewer opening, preventing it from causing harm. Sonic then disassembles the truck piece by piece to ensure the situation is resolved before disappearing. The police arrive shortly after and arrest the thieves. The next morning, Sonic returns quietly to his room at Tom's house in Green Hills, not wanting anyone to discover his absence during the night. He picks up a map of the planets and finds an owl feather on it. He remembers the owl, Color Owl, and says she must be proud of him now. Feeling exhausted, Sonic quickly heads to bed. A few moments later, Maddie wakes Sonic and asks him to get ready to go fishing with Tom. Sonic ends up on a boat with Tom on the lake, but he falls asleep and ends up in the water. He panics because he can't swim and is afraid of the water, so Tom pulls him back onto the boat. Tom then tells Sonic that he discovered his absence from home the previous night. Sonic explains that he was helping the police because he's a superhero, but Tom shows him a newspaper article about the chaos and destruction from the previous day. Tom tells Sonic that his actions were reckless and that a true hero must take responsibility for protecting others. Sonic agrees with Tom's words and promises not to act so recklessly again. The next day, Tom and Maddie prepare to travel to attend Rachel's wedding. Sonic creates a time portal for them to travel directly to the wedding venue. Before they use the portal, Sonic gives Tom a golden ring to use for their return journey. Once Tom and Maddie arrive in Hawaii, they check into a hotel and meet Randall, Rachel's fiancé. Tom notices that the wedding is filled with Randall's friends, and Rachel is worried about Tom causing any trouble. The following day, Tom meets JoJo, Rachel's daughter, who has her mother's wedding ring. Tom uses the ring for a magic trick and then returns it to JoJo. Tom sees Randall's friends enjoying themselves and wishes Sonic had friends like them. Back at Tom's house in Green Hills, Sonic is enjoying being alone and doing things he can't do when Maddie and Tom are around. Meanwhile, a time portal opens near Sonic's house, and a small fox named Tails emerges. Tails, equipped with a device, detects Sonic's presence and uses his tails as a propeller to fly around searching for him. After a while, Sonic is at home watching TV when suddenly the power goes out. This is because another time portal opens next to the house, and out of it comes Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles. Sonic hears a noise outside and opens the door, only to be surprised by a laser destroying the door and Dr. Robotnik appearing, vowing revenge. Sonic gathers all his strength and attacks, but he is overwhelmed by the power of Knuckles, who turns out to be an old friend of Robotnik. Knuckles reveals himself as one of the strongest warriors and tells Sonic about the ancient conflict between their tribes. The Echidna tribe and the Owl tribe were once at war over the ultimate power gem, which the Owl tribe believed should not belong to any creature. The gem was eventually hidden by the Owls after defeating the Echidna warriors. Knuckles seeks the gem to reclaim his tribe's legacy, but Sonic knows nothing about this power or the gem. Suddenly, Tails arrives in a police car, crashes into Knuckles, and knocks him to the ground. Tails tells Sonic that he came to rescue him and asks him to get into the car. Although Sonic doesn't know Tails well, he has no other choice and jumps into the car with him. Tails drives them quickly away from Knuckles, and they reach a highway on a mountain. Sonic learns that Tails loves exploration and inventions. Tails invented the device he has to help him in his life, and he's always at his computer surrounded by his gadgets. Tails explains that he discovered Sonic's energy pulse during a baseball game, which caused disturbances on several planets, including his own. Using his devices, Tails was able to track the energy source and found that it was Sonic. Since then, Tails has looked up to Sonic as a role model. When Tails learned that Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles had teamed up to defeat Sonic, he decided to help. Tails reveals to Sonic that Knuckles is the strongest being in the galaxy and is searching for the ultimate power gem, which is the most potent energy source in the universe. Knuckles believes Sonic knows his location. Suddenly, Knuckles attacks the car and tries to capture them. Tails swerves the car off the road and they tumble down the mountain. Tails grabs Sonic and flies him into the air, leaving Knuckles hanged on the mountain while they escape. Meanwhile, in Green Hills, Stone, Dr. Robotnik's assistant, works as a bartender at his cafe, keeping his true identity hidden from the public. He receives a message from Dr. Robotnik, informing him that he has arrived on Earth. Stone is thrilled by the news and quickly clears out the cafe, which turns out to be a front for a high-tech lab. He activates the backup laboratory and sends a message to Dr. Robotnik's location. Robotnik enters the lab, makes significant upgrades to himself, and then meets with Knuckles. They agree that Knuckles will assist Robotnik in finding the ultimate power gem in exchange for Knuckles eliminating Sonic. Knuckles agrees, and they head to Stone's cafe to use the equipment there to track Sonic. Meanwhile, Sonic and Tails arrive at a secret location belonging to Officer Wade, Tom's friend. Sonic wants to understand the secret of the ultimate power gem. He examines the map from the owl, which has a drawing of the gem on it. When Sonic touches the drawing, a message from Longclaw appears, informing him that she chose to send him to Earth because it is the gem's hidden location. The message explains that the gem grants its possessor extraordinary powers and can turn their thoughts into reality. Longclaw urges Sonic to protect the gem and ensure it does not fall into the hands of evil. The message ends there. Then Sonic begins the journey for the gem. He looks at the map and determines that the compass's location leading to the gem is in Siberia. He asks Tails to join him on the journey, assuring him that he will protect him from any danger and tells him that from now on, Tails will be his friend. Tails agrees and is very proud to be friends with Sonic. They travel through the time portal and arrive amidst the ice in Siberia, where they face a severe snowstorm. Due to the storm, Tails' device can't pinpoint the exact location of the compass. Sonic spots a nearby building that he thinks might belong to locals, so he decides to take Tails there to stay for the night. However, Tails is nervous about interacting with humans. When they arrive, they find that it is a tavern full of people. Despite their fear, Sonic and Tails enter and try to blend in as humans. Sonic receives a message from Tom, who wants to check on him. Sonic responds, telling Tom that he's at the tavern and watching TV. The tavern owner approaches to take their order, and Tails uses his device to translate the owner's words, but the device translates incorrectly, causing it to seem like an insult in Russian. The tavern patrons, realizing who Sonic and Tails are, decide to kill them. Tails then uses his device to say a phrase in Russian that means challenge before death. In Siberian culture, this phrase is a way to resolve disputes. The strongest person in the tavern accepts the challenge, and Sonic and Tails prepare for the fight. They are surprised to find that the challenge isn't a physical fight but a test of head-to-head competition. The Russian man seems likely to win, but Sonic changes the music and starts dancing with Tails. They manage to win the challenge and escape from death. Meanwhile, Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles, having tracked Sonic's location to Siberia using his phone, decide to hurry there to retrieve the gem from Sonic. The next morning, Tails and Sonic use Tails' device to locate the compass, which leads them to a large cave in the mountains. Inside the cave, they discover a massive statue of an owl. Sonic uses the owl's map to decode the inscriptions at the base of the statue, revealing a compass that directs them to the gem's location. Suddenly, drones invade the cave, and Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles appear, attacking Sonic and Tails. Sonic uses his speed to evade them and instructs Tails to split up to distract the drones. Sonic destroys one of the drones and uses its parts to block the drone's path. He manages to escape the cave, but as he evades the drones, he is able to dodge their laser beams and throw snowballs to destroy them. However, more drones arrive, and Sonic uses his incredible speed to maneuver through their laser fire and destroy them all. Knuckles then confronts Sonic and demands the compass, but Sonic refuses. Knuckles delivers a powerful blow that almost causes Sonic to fall from the mountain. Sonic manages to catch himself, but his golden rings fall from him. He climbs back up the mountain and tries to reason with Knuckles, but Tails arrives and uses his device to write in Knuckles' language, confusing him. Knuckles realizes he's been tricked and quickly retreats. Dr. Robotnik appears with his drone and fires 2 missiles, causing a massive explosion. Tails is left behind, and Sonic rushes back to check on him. Knuckles is surprised that Sonic's main concern is his friend rather than pursuing the compass. The explosion triggers an avalanche, causing Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles to flee quickly. Sonic carries Tails and tries to escape the avalanche by moving onto the ice. During this time, Tom is at Rachel's wedding, but he receives a call from Sonic. Sonic asks him to imagine the location they are in and use the golden ring he has to open a time portal to rescue them. Tom quickly retrieves the ring, but accidentally mixes it up with Rachel's wedding ring, giving her the time portal ring. Tom then rushes to get the ring back, but Rachel's ring gets confused, and Tom ends up throwing the time portal ring. A time portal opens to Sonic's location, and a large amount of snow floods the area. Sonic explains to Tom that they need to stop Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles before they reach the location of the ultimate energy gem. Suddenly, one of the guests hits Sonic with an electric shock, causing him to collapse, and it is revealed that Tom and Maddie, along with Randall and other guests, are FBI agents who were there to arrest Sonic. Rachel learns that Randall, her fiancé, had been deceiving her, leading to a confrontation. Randall apologizes and explains that it was part of his job. Additionally, the leader, Walters, treats Rachel poorly and asks her to leave so they can continue their work. While Randall's friends capture Sonic and Tails and imprison them in metal cages, Tom tries to rescue them, but is also captured. After the FBI agents leave, Maddie finds Tails' bag, which contains his inventions, and decides to rescue Sonic, Tails, and Tom. They track the FBI agents to their location and use Tails' inventions and weapons to fight them. Maddie and Rachel split up. Maddie searches for Tom, Sonic, and Tails and eventually finds them. Meanwhile, Rachel confronts Randall to get revenge for deceiving her. She encounters Walters, who tries to electrocute her, but Randall intervenes, taking the shock and collapsing. Rachel then uses one of Tails' weapons against Walters, forcing him to surrender. She then checks on Randall, who confesses his genuine feelings for her and expresses his desire to marry her. During this time, Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles use the compass to reach an island in the middle of the water. They find Dr. Robotnik on the beach with a symbol on the sand that resembles a gate. Knuckles places the compass on the symbol, revealing a path through the sea, with a powerful green light emerging. This light is the ultimate energy gem, and a massive temple rises from the depths of the ocean. Dr. Robotnik is astonished and cannot believe it. On the other side of the sea, Tom, Sonic, and Maddie see the green light and realize that Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles have reached the gem's location. Tom decides they should make a plan before facing Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles. However, Sonic disagrees and wants to go alone to protect the gem to prove himself to the Owl Lumina, who chose him for this mission. Sonic believes this is his moment to be a hero, especially since Tails came from another planet and risked his life for him. Sonic doesn't want anyone else to get hurt because of him. Sonic races towards the location of the ultimate energy gem. Despite his fear of water, he uses all his energy to cross the ocean. He bravely overcomes the waves and storms until he reaches the shore, exhausted. At that moment, Tails wakes up and asks Tom and Maddie to help Sonic because he cannot face Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles alone. They call for assistance and request help from anyone who can offer it. Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles enter the temple and manage to avoid all the traps inside. Dr. Robotnik, being fearful and nervous, sends the drones ahead until they reach a large gate. Knuckles uses his strength to open the gate before it closes. They find themselves in a huge maze. Dr. Robotnik uses a small Robotnik to find the correct path to the gem. They successfully reach the location of the gem. Sonic, having recovered, enters the temple from another entrance and uses his speed to easily avoid the traps. He descends from the ceiling of the room where the gem is located. At the same time, Dr. Robotnik tries to get rid of Knuckles, and Sonic faces Knuckles, realizing that he must deal with him first before reaching the gem. An intense battle ensues between Sonic and Knuckles, with both fighting with all their strength. During this time, Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles struggle to reach the gem. Knuckles manages to knock Sonic to the ground and believes he has defeated him. However, Sonic recovers and continues to attack Knuckles with rapid and powerful strikes. They are both surprised when Knuckles tries to beat Sonic with quick punches, but Sonic is faster and evades them all. Knuckles hits Sonic once, causing him to fall to the ground. Knuckles then picks up a large rock to finish Sonic off. Suddenly, Dr. Robotnik reaches the gem and mocks Knuckles for being foolish and reckless. He tells Knuckles that he has used him to obtain the power he has always dreamed of. Dr. Robotnik grabs the gem and harnesses its energy, resulting in a massive explosion that destroys the temple and causes it to collapse into the water. A large rock column falls on Knuckles, and he is at risk of drowning. Sonic, facing his fear of water once again, dives in to remove the rock from Knuckles. Knuckles quickly escapes from the water, not noticing that Sonic is still drowning. He realizes Sonic's absence only when he emerges. Knuckles returns to rescue Sonic, and they both reach the beach. Knuckles is surprised that Sonic saved him, and Sonic explains that being a true hero means protecting others. They discuss how both have lost what they held dear due to the conflict, and they agree to put the past behind them, become friends, and live happy lives. Knuckles is convinced by Sonic's words, and they decide to face Dr. Robotnik together. Tails then arrives in his plane, and Sonic is overjoyed to see him. During this time, Officer Wade accidentally discovers the truth about Stone's laboratory and arrests him. However, Dr. Robotnik arrives and overpowers Stone, taking control of Officer Wade. Stone informs Dr. Robotnik that the military has surrounded the area, prompting Dr. Robotnik to confront them. Meanwhile, Tom, Maddie, and Commander Walters take advantage of Dr. Robotnik's situation. Dr. Robotnik uses the gem's power to attract all metal objects in the city, forming a giant Robotnik. Stone's assistant is also pulled into this and is used to control the robot, which begins attacking the city. At this moment, Tails arrives with Sonic and Knuckles via a time portal. They see the giant Robotnik and decide to fight it. Sonic and Tails engage the robot, while Knuckles uses his strength. Despite their efforts, the robot is very strong and resists their attacks. Dr. Robotnik manages to shoot down Tails' plane, causing it to crash. Sonic takes control of one of the robot missiles, and along with Knuckles and Tails, devises a plan to fight the robot. Sonic positions himself in front of the robot and distracts Dr. Robotnik with fast movements, making him focus on Sonic while Knuckles and Tails work on the robot. Knuckles beats the robot, and Tails infiltrates it using his inventions, creating numerous copies of himself to confuse Dr. Robot. Eventually, Knuckles lands a powerful hit that causes the energy gem to be expelled from the robot, leading to Dr. Robotnik's defeat. As the robot collapses, Sonic retrieves the gem from the ground. However, Dr. Robotnik activates the robot's backup power, and it rises again. Tom and Maddie arrive in their car and rescue Sonic just in time. The car is overturned by the robot's attack, but they quickly escape. Sonic tries to use the gem's power to fight Dr. Robotnik, but the gem shatters in his hands. Dr. Robotnik traps them with fire, trying to prevent their escape. Sonic urges Tom and Maddie to flee, but they refuse. Dr. Robotnik attempts to crush them all with the robot's foot. Suddenly, the shattered energy gem reassembles into 7 cosmic power gems, which enter Sonic's body, transforming him into a powerful golden form. Sonic battles Dr. Robotnik, who deceives him by pretending to reconcile. Dr. Robotnik then attacks with the robot, but Sonic destroys the robot from within. Tom and Maddie are overjoyed and rush to hug Sonic, but Knuckles intervenes, realizing that this Sonic is now a powerful but potentially evil entity due to the gem's power. Sonic reassures Knuckles that he remains himself despite the transformation. He decides to give up the 7 cosmic gems to remain true to his nature. Knuckles gathers the 7 gems, restoring them to their original form of the energy gem. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles become the guardians of the gem, ensuring it doesn't fall into the hands of anyone evil. After the giant Robotnik's wreckage is cleared, military forces search the area for Dr. Robotnik's body, but find no trace of him. Stone, disguised as a soldier, blends in with the troops and looks for Dr. Robotnik. A soldier informs Captain Walters about a secret file related to Dr. Robotnik, which could reveal crucial information. A few days later, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are at a baseball field. It's revealed that Tom and Maddie have invited Tails and Knuckles to live with them and Sonic, forming a united family. At the same time, in a secret underground facility, a mysterious object is discovered. Inside it, an alien capsule containing a hedgehog being awakens. The second part of the movie ends. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button. See ya!